Hey, good morning, folks.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Bruce. I'll tell you what, we got a 911 call from Lisa last night that Brian was not feeling well. He spent the day in Atlanta at the inauguration, and
Is that why you didn't feel well?
I don't, I don't know if any of that politician stuff rubbed off on him or not, but she called, and felt like anyway. Good morning from the office. I should get a little bit more formal before we go into
Do the spiel.
why we're here. Yeah, we are once again North Georgia's only live online broadcast. Josh is at the helm this morning. Josh, thank you for guiding us through this maze.
And we're in the stern. He's at the helm, we're in the stern.
Yeah, exactly. We're in steerage. Anyway, I don't know if Brian is going to be watching this morning, but if you are, I hope you're feeling better. Get well soon. You've got an inauguration ball to go to Thursday.
More germs.
More germs, yeah. I don't know. I should have brought the Lysol wipes in here anyway.
Drink plenty of fluids.
Yeah. Josh, tell them how you can get a hold of the show. Would you put that up there for us? You can reach us on Instagram at FYNTV, at Fetcher News at FYNTV, Twitter at Fetcher News at FYNTV, and YouTube, the YouTube channel FYNTV, Fetch Your News. So anyway, Bruce and I are going to give it a shot this morning. We've got, we're going to be around the board a little bit. We'll start with a little inauguration rundown based on what Brian reported in last night to me. We're going to touch on sports. We'll touch on the wall. We got more people coming.
Shutdown.
Yeah, we got more coming to America. We got a new Honduran group that's coming in, about 1,100 strong, and then that should take us to about 9:30. At 9:30, Beth Bennett is going to join the show. Beth Bennett from H&R Block. We're thoroughly into tax season right now, so she's going to provide some tips. And then we'll also do a piece with Dr. Mark Well from Ridgeline Counseling. Dr. Mark Well's been part of the show for a number of episodes with Brian, and he's always insightful and in his counseling area. So I felt like a new flight attendant this morning on reserve. You know, when you get a call late and you're not prepared and you got to come in there and, and then you're not ready to fly the 737, they put you in a 767. So
Don't worry, you don't have to fly it. You just gotta cater it.
we got some snow up in North Georgia, folks. For those of you basking in the sun down in Florida or wherever you are, we got a little snow, we got a little dusting. I took a picture for Josh. I got a little snow on the windshield of my Gator this morning. You got that picture, Josh? There you go. There's the old 825 sitting there with a little dusting. And I said to Bruce, you see all the snow on the rooftops? He says, what do you mean? It was dark. I couldn't see anything. It was dark.
And I live on the warm side of the mountain. We didn't have any snow there, so.
There you go.
Very spotty.
Anyway, we're supposed to have a little bit of rough weather on the weekend, but we'll get through that too. I know Brian is going to go into detail on this, but I got to just give you some highlights. He called me last night on the way home, and he was so wound up from going to this inauguration. The speaker was kind enough to set tickets aside for Brian and Lisa, and the tickets were going to be in his office. And he gets to the office. He said it was total chaos, and unbeknownst to them, they got the bleacher seat tickets.
Hey.
So what they didn't get were the yellow wristbands. The yellow wristband gets you into the VIP seating.
Pit pass.
Exactly. That's right. He's got a pit pass. So can't you just see the two of them coming into that auditorium? The speaker's down on the floor swearing in the new representatives for the state of Georgia, and Brian and Lisa come skulking in. And he said, look, the front row. Let's get down to the front row. So
wishful thinking.
Yeah, they're off to the races, and all of a sudden, Where are you going, sir? Oh, we're going to sit in those seats down there. No, you're not. Do you have a yellow wristband? A yellow wristband. I didn't know anything about that. So anyway, so they backpedal and they go back and they they rehuddle and get a new game plan. And as he tells it, they head back down again. And if you go to the left, you go to the good seats. If you go to the right, you're in the cheap seats. So Lisa says, "Follow my lead." She makes a hard left, and he's right after her, and they're pulling their sleeves down so no one sees whether they got wristbands or not. He sits down, and they just kind of, she says, "Just sit down and be quiet." So
Hunker down.
Yeah, I mean, you can imagine this scene. Brian is who Brian is. What you see on the show here is exactly how the guy is, and he's just a hoot. Anyway, so they sit down in the seats. Who comes in and sits next to him? But former representative and former senator Saxby Chambliss from Georgia, and his wife Julianne. So can you just visualize Brian sitting there and go, "Hey Sax, how you doing, bub?" And Lisa's talking to the wife, and they're making small talk with him, and they bring up some. We're from LJ, and oh yeah, well. Who do you know in LJ? Well, sure, we know Colonel Poole, and then we start talking about some other folks. I don't want to give everything away.
And that's Saxby, not the chicken thing. That's Zaxby.
That's Zaxby.
I just want to be clear.
That's right. Anyway, Brian said North Georgia was well represented. I'm sure probably Steve Gooch was there, and I don't know if Doug Collins was there or not, but. We had Johnny Isaacson was there. Senator Isaacson was there. David Perdue was there. I don't know if Sonny was there, the agriculture commissioner. I don't know, or the secretary, Secretary Perdue. I don't know if he was there. But, Ralston was holding court, puts on a good show. The funniest thing you can ever imagine, and he's going to go into detail on this. Brian and Lisa experienced their first Uber ride yesterday.
Oh boy.
They're going down there, and I guess the instructions said,
park here and Uber there.
Park over to Georgia Tech, and Georgia. For those that don't know, Georgia Tech is probably, as the crow flies, only 2.5 miles from the Capitol. But as the roads go and the traffic flows and the state police blocking everything off, it's a push-up. So they park over there, and they park over at Georgia Tech, and Brian's telling Lisa, "Download that Uber app so that we can try this." Anyway, he gets in the car with these guys, and he said that he had a Hispanic guy that was driving that couldn't speak English, and Brian's asking him all these questions, and then on the way back he had an African American driver who he was quizzing, and he says, "This is classic." He said, "Now look, you don't have to take me all the way there. Give me about a block. I can walk. I don't want to get caught in traffic." But he said, "I got to ask you, don't drop me off in an area where I don't want to be walking." So,
what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so the last thing he says, I do research. That's why I'm asking you all these questions. I'm sure he was grinding this guy the whole way,
Indeed.
asking him all about, this, that, and the other. But there's so much more, and he's obviously going to be able to tell it a lot better than I can. So we will.
So the swearing in was at the Capitol. It
Yeah.
wasn't at Georgia Tech.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Georgia Tech has got a lot of parking over there.
Yeah, because I had heard on the TV that they said that everybody was going to Georgia Tech, and going, why are they going there?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it was at the Capitol.
Yeah, that would be logical. But.
Yeah.
So who did the swearing in? So is there a Chief Justice of the Georgia Supreme Court?
I don't know who did the governor. There was Lisa sent
Brian will probably cover all that.
Yeah, Lisa sent a video over to me that showed the governor and his wife and his 3 daughters standing there, and it was definitely not the speaker. I think it was I think it was possibly someone from the Georgia Supreme Court or something like that. I don't know. He'll be able to give us a lot more information. So
I heard a bit of the speech that Brian Kemp gave, and it sounded very inclusive, trying to get everybody, no matter how they voted, on the same wagon. So as he goes through his term, that he can do things for all Georgians, not just.
Yeah, I think he talked about Clark Central High School.
You probably know what that is.
Clark Central High School is in Gainesville, and it's a big school and a perennial football powerhouse. And I think Brian told me that part of the speech was about bringing this state together, and the coach took the entire team. Just what's the football movie about?
Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans. It reminded me. Yeah. It reminded me a lot of Remember the Titans in how he described it. But the coach took this team for I don't know how many weeks down off-site, and the whole thing was about unity and bringing the team together and playing together as a unit, regardless of your ethnicity or your beliefs or whatever. And I think they ended up winning the state championship. So good ending to that story. But that was part of the speech that Governor Kemp brought to light. So I haven't seen the transcript or I haven't heard it live, but it's probably something worth watching.
Was there a representation of the Dems there?
Well, Stacey Abrams wasn't there.
Oh.
I think she was already mounting her campaign strategy to see if she can unseat Senator Perdue. So we'll see how that happens. That's the rumor on the street, though, that she's going to
at the 2020 election
make a run in 2020 against David Perdue for that House seat. So we'll see how that plays.
It's interesting. I mean, these contestants for public office. I mean, they don't get the governorship, and then they go, okay, well, let's try the senatorship, or let's try to be a congressman. It's like this burning desire to, get some win in some part of the government.
Yeah, I think they get, they get that in their blood that this is where they need to be, and they develop a power base.
No.
And I think it's tough. It's tough for a lot of these people to relinquish that power.
Just stay private sector, or do something, on their own. They feel they have to stay in the public limelight for whatever reason.
Well, I don't know if it'll ever come to pass, but Senator Cruz and another senator co-sponsored a bill for term limits. Wonder how that's going to play, right? Term limits for senators, term limits for representatives, and I think it's 18 years. That's what they're proposing anyway, which wouldn't affect him, but
that's 3 senatorial terms, 9 congressional terms.
Exactly.
So I would rather see them move, away from this 2-year congressional thing, because they're constantly, they get elected and they immediately start re-election.
Well, and I think that's why that's one of the reasons that Trump just didn't focus on the House.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's constantly churning. He knew he was going to lose it. He didn't lose it as bad as everybody said. But let's go concentrate on the Senate, where the votes really count, where he can put, where he can continue the judgeships,
confirm judges. Yeah.
And when they finally realize that Ruthie maybe is taking a dirt nap somewhere.
Oh boy.
Yeah. She, I don't know. She probably dies sitting in her chair right next to Judge Roberts. But
she's had several bouts with cancer, and
yeah, I mean, you wish her the best.
Cancer-free and all that. But
you wish her the best. But I don't know how anybody in that condition can really do their job, even though she contends she is.
Well, she said she's going to do the job till she can't do it full steam. Her words, full steam. So. I'm not sure what full steam means to her. As you get older and you fight through some of these difficulties medically, physically, full steam maybe takes on a different meaning.
I'm not convinced that they're telling her, okay, there's a couple of cases coming up here, that would be better served going back to the lower court. And if we don't have a,
Yeah.
if we don't have
Full
an,
court.
exactly. So I haven't really, dug into that, but that's a thought that's crossed my mind. They might be telling her to stand down, take a powder for a while.
I don't know. See how she deals with that. She's
Yeah,
supposedly
yeah.
pretty independent.
Anyway, so
So Brian's going to wrap up the inauguration.
yeah,
after
I
he
mean,
gets
he'll
back on
have
his
some
feet.
detail that I just can't even come close to covering.
Maybe he'll have pictures.
Oh, well, they'll definitely have pictures. He said he wished he had a long lens, but like I said, they've got a video of the swearing in that was pretty good. It was a little blurry on my phone, so I didn't want to throw it up there and throw it to Josh and have it not good quality, but I'm sure they've got some good stuff to share. Hopefully, he'll be back tomorrow, folks. Back in the seat, but we're going to do our best today to continue to muddle through.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want to go, boss? We still got the work stoppage. The government shut down the wall.
Do we want to go there now, or do we want to maybe swing into sports, or?
Well, let's see. It's why don't we? Let's see where we can go here. Oh, I'll tell you what we can talk about. We got.
We've got a winner.
Yeah, we got Bill Barr.
Ah, that's right. Confirmation hearings.
Confirmation hearings today. Is this going to be Kavanaugh round 2, or what do you think?
I don't think it's going to be as bad as Kavanaugh. I think he was already Attorney General under Herbert Walker Bush.
HW 41.
And supposedly he did write a letter to Mueller about the investigation, which I think
either he wrote a letter to him directly or it was an op-ed piece.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
But
he did.
that
he
will
did
be the
make
lightning
public
rod.
comment.
That will be the lightning rod,
Or comment that's been made public.
Yeah, that is, if he's confirmed as Attorney General, is he going to, definitely leave Mueller alone and let him finish? And he's already on record saying that, but I think there'll be a lot of questions in that alleyway.
Well, I think he's already been up and down the halls meeting with a lot of the committee members. And, it's not a position for life. It's not like a Supreme Court pick.
Right.
So, I mean, he's going to be in there. He'll serve at the pleasure of the president, and chances are, whenever Trump decides, whether it be him leaving when the president leaves, whenever that is, 2024, hopefully, or is that right? Yeah, 2024.
Yeah, 2024, yeah.
Attorney generals usually don't last that long. They either get burned out or they get sanctioned like Holder.
So he could finish this term and, depending on the outcome of 2020, either be there or, maybe move on at that point.
They're trying to bring the DOJ back to a respectable body of lawmakers.
He's got some work to do.
He does have some work to do.
I mean, their image is taking a real hit.
There's not one agency, whether it be the FBI, the DOJ, the NSA, the CIA, I mean, they've all just been so corrupt at the top.
That's what you get with the civil service people. I mean, they get in there and, they have political slants.
They have a political. It's not the rank and file, folks. We're not slamming the guys that get up and the ladies that get up and go to work every morning, and do their job. It's the politically motivated, top tier.
Yeah.
The McCabe's,
Top
the
and middle
Strauchs,
management.
the Comeys that have.
Lisa Page,
Lisa
Bruce
Page,
Orr,
yeah.
folks like that just had to throw political shade on everything, and it's unfortunate that they do that. They're not supposed to do that. They're supposed to be sort of independent and non-biased, as it were. But unfortunately, we've seen in those organizations there's been too much political emphasis.
Yeah, well, back to Barr, he's been up and down the hall, and I guess what the Dems are really going to try to do is hold his feet to the fire and make him promise that he'll let Mueller complete the investigation.
Yeah, and he's already made public comments to that effect. So they will spend some time there, but I don't think it will be a deal breaker at the end of the day.
Rosenstein stepping down does that signal to you that he just wants to get out of Dodge? Or do we see that the Mueller investigation is maybe close to closing? You know, Jonathan Karl was on all of the news
Talk shows,
yesterday,
yeah.
all the talk show. Is he an NBC guy? Is that right? Or is he ABC? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't know, but he was on all he was on the circuit, including the View yesterday, and you know he
Made the View.
he basically laid it out there that there's really don't expect anything, you know, really exciting if you want to see.
Yeah, I think he used the word anticlimactic. So you know.
Yeah, and that was something that came from the New York Times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was reporting on the New York Times that someone, again, you know, someone close to the investigation leaked that there wasn't going to be anything of substance in this
Imagine
thing.
that.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah.
The leakers once more.
So you know, and in the end, it is a nothing burger. You know, the
he's going to get elected. I mean, he's going to get voted in, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any reason. I don't see any way that any of the Republican senators would vote against him.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I mean,
but,
there hasn't been any rumblings from the.
There's always Murkowski and Collins. You never know exactly, you know, how they're gonna. But it would be a stretch to imagine that he doesn't get confirmed.
Well, he was. I mean, he was confirmed in such a nonpartisan, just overwhelming majority.
Yeah, but that was then. This is now. I mean,
Yeah.
You know, a lot more was nonpartisan or like level-headed thinking back in those days. I mean, now it's like.
He came out of retirement. I think he retired from his days in the cell industry, right? He was with Verizon, and then he was general counsel for Verizon and helped them
I
through.
didn't think he was that old that he's in retirement, man. I'm not sure.
He is
Late 60s?
68.
Okay.
68. So a young guy.
Past full retirement age. For you FRA people out there.
That's right. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. We wish him well. I think he'll be good for the country, good for the department, and hopefully bring some stability back. Get some folks at the top back in there that have the best interest in the country at heart, and not. You think he's going to go after?
But after the Mueller investigation is out and finished and dissected and analyzed and opinionated and everything, I mean, what's he going to do? Just
Lock her up.
Go behind the scenes and start to just kind of remediate the image of the DOJ, the CIA, the FBI, the NSA, etc. Or lock her up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. That's why the country's so divided.
It is one of the drivers, no question.
I mean, they see that there's one set of rules for one group and another set of rules for another group.
Yep.
If we were in public office and we did any of that stuff, if we did 2% of it, I think the biggest issue that's going to get looked into is Uranium One.
As it should.
Exactly.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, you can take all the the private server and all that stuff. There's a lot of really, really egregious stuff that went on.
Yeah, I mean, there's big fingerprints all over that scam. I mean, it's certainly worthy of an investigation, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But as the Democrats and mainstream media keep saying, this has been investigated up and down, and there's been nothing found out against Mrs. Clinton.
Everything's
so
been found out. It's just that they don't act on it.
No.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's another story.
I know. Anyway, we're glad to be here. We're in the office for Brian this morning, who's under the weather. We wish him well. We hope the fever breaks and he comes in tomorrow and doesn't infect anybody in here. Josh is worried that he's gonna catch it, but we're with you, Josh. We got your back, buddy.
90-micron mask for everybody.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to take a break here for the cause. From the office, we Hope you watch the commercials. Support those people that make this possible. We try to bring you a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of current events, a little bit of sports, and when we come back, we're going to touch on a few things. Clemson Tigers visited the White House yesterday.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I wonder what they had to eat. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about a little a touching moment that Coach Sweeney brought to light yesterday when he was making his remarks. I thought it was very, very well done. We can talk a little bit about the NFL, the 4 teams that are left. The big upset in basketball yesterday we can touch on. So we'll have a few minutes of sports when we come back. But in the meantime, Josh, how about taking us to break, buddy?
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Ace is your helpful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on-site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East LJ. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Better days ahead. The leaves aren't the only thing falling in Jasper. The prices are falling too at Days Chevrolet. Now during the model year end clearance, get huge savings up to $14,000 off Chevy Silverado Crew Cab and save up to $7,000 off new Chevy Cruze. The prices are falling on every 2018 Chevy in stock during the model year end clearance. Going on now at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where new Chevys always cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ellijay, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
Do you feel like healthcare has become too impersonal?
3 times an hour, I'll get you in, I'll get you out.
At Lifetime Medical Center, you're more than a number. We get to know you, not just your medical issues. Dr. Alana Kent is board certified in family practice and offers same-day appointments. She and her staff treat conditions from minor to chronic issues. Lifetime Medical Center, convenient to Jasper and Blue Ridge.
This may sting a little.
We're more than just $5 medium one-topping pizzas, stuffed garlic knots, breadsticks, bone-out wings, pasta, and new Cinnabon mini rolls. We're the $5 lineup with the best sides for your pizza.
$5 each.
Choose 2 or more, $5 each. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Hey, we're back after that short break. Glad to be back. Glad to be in the seat here with Bruce, my buddy Bruce. You'll normally see us on Fridays, but we're sitting in for Brian today, who's a little bit under the weather. I don't know if the inauguration took it out of him, but he better get well because he's got tickets for the inaugural ball. The inaugural ball for the governor. Yeah, was worried about whether it was going to be black tie or not.
I was just going to ask, is it black tie or
No,
business suit?
Yeah, exactly. It's not business casual. It's
business suit.
Yeah, let's have a nice dark suit and wear your Sunday finest.
Well, that beats a penguin suit.
Yeah. Make sure you wear socks, Brian. Anyway.
Where is that going to be held?
That's going to be in Gainesville.
Ooh.
Gainesville, Georgia.
At the lake.
Well, close to the lake. Yeah, that's Kemp's home, I believe.
Is that a big event center up there? They're doing it.
There is some. Yeah, there is a very big event center. I don't know where they're holding it, but Gainesville. Yeah, it's gonna be up there. So I think Brian and Lisa will be traveling to Gainesville on Thursday night for a little rubbing elbows with the.
Well, hopefully he's up to it.
The politically elite. So yeah, hopefully he's up to it.
Mm-hmm.
We had some news yesterday. The national champion football team, the Clemson Tigers. Clemson Tigers.
Who did they beat?
Brian will tell you that he's the only one that picked. Well, anyway. No, he did. I mean, he's been with.
They weren't the favorite.
They were not the favorite. They were 13-point underdogs,
oh boy.
and they got. I mean, Alabama got whacked.
Yeah.
But they visited the White House yesterday, A lot of people are making a big to-do over what was served at lunch. You know what was served at lunch?
What was served at lunch?
Yeah. Well, it was featured was McDonald's,
Big Macs?
Big Macs.
Oh boy.
Yep, quarter pounders.
All right.
We got a little bit of Burger King thrown in there. We got some Whoppers. Wendy's. Wendy's was represented. I don't know why. I guess it wasn't a state dinner, so Chick-fil-A was not on the menu.
Hey.
The kids loved it. That's what they eat, folks. Quit making a big deal about what was served at the White House. Trump knows what middle America wants. Trump knows what he's doing, folks. Anyway, Trump had some words, and Dabo Swinney, the coach of the Clemson Tigers, who played for Alabama, by the way. Did you know that?
He's from Alabama.
Yeah, he played for Alabama. He was a wideout. I looked it up the other day, so we were talking about it, and he did.
Back in the Bear Bryant days?
He did it. Well, no, I think he played for. Who's the guy that had the physically challenged son? I can't think of his name. I'm so sorry, but I can't remember.
Was that one of the Bowdens?
No,
Okay.
it was not. He did take over for Bowden at Clemson.
Terry or Bobby? No, not Bobby.
Terry.
It would have been Terry.
Terry.
Yeah.
What's that? Gene Stallings. Thank you. That's the name I was trying to remember. Our crack research department, Josh, this morning came up with Gene
Josh.
Stallings. Yeah, he did play under Gene Stallings, and then he coached a little bit. I think he was a grad assistant, and he coached a little bit. But he got his first head coaching job after a little scandal with Terry. Yeah, so I clipped a piece. It's 8 minutes long, but it's really, really, really poignant and worth listening to. From my perspective, he made a point of highlighting a young man who went to Purdue and made a lot of headlines this year. He was suffering from a debilitating bout with cancer, and he passed on January 20th. But he really had a tremendous outlook on life.
January 20th.
Excuse me, not January 20th. Well, needless to say, Tyler Trent, who's a young man I'm speaking of, passed away after the season, and he was highlighted by Coach Swinney from another team. But I think what you're going to see and hear is representative of the way football coaches should all take to heart and profess on their team. And he makes a point of saying that we should look that every day is a bonus, and never assume that tomorrow is going to come. So, Josh, if you'll cue that up, I think the 8 minutes are well spent.
Thank you, Mr. President, for this opportunity. What a fun day it's an honor to be a part of this tradition. And to be honest with you, it's really cool that football can create an opportunity like this. And I stand here before you as a guy from Pelham, Alabama, and I'm looking at all these young people from all over this country. And I have to look at my mom because I came to Washington, D.C. on a train in the 5th grade, and she didn't have enough money to come with me. But here we are now, many, many years later, and we're getting to have a chance to have a moment like this. So, football matters. And football and the relationships through football created this opportunity. And for that, I'm so thankful. It's been an unbelievably crazy week, literally a crazy week. But it's great to receive this recognition and see this team honored for its amazing season. 1 week ago today, as a matter of fact, we were at the stadium getting ready to go, but getting ready to kick it off. But 1 week ago today, we all enjoyed a magical and historic moment as our team became the first 15-0 team in modern football history. And one of the things that we talked about, and you guys know, is, we say all the time, greatness is not your destiny. Greatness is not your right. It's a decision. We always say championships are won when the stands are empty. Champions are made when nobody's watching. And this team right here made a decision to be great and was special from day one. We had our goals, and y'all all know what our goals are, but more importantly, our daily commitment was greater than those goals. And that's what it takes to do something special. And our staff, all of our staff is here. What an amazing job our staff did. It says in Proverbs that where there is no counsel, the people fall. But in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. And we've been so consistent at Clemson because I've got a multitude of good counselors, a lot of good people, unbelievable staff, great continuity, a bunch of great young people that buy in and choose to be about the right things and to think the right way and to lay it on the line for their university and for each other. And people talk a lot about X's and O's in my business. We talk a lot about X's and O's, but this game to me is really about hearts and souls. And last Monday you saw on full display the heart and soul of this team. They played with a will to win that just would not be denied. And one of the things that we talk about all the time in Colossians 3:23, whatever you do it with all your heart. Doesn't matter, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you do it with all your heart. And because when you do things with your heart, you go above and beyond. You do the extra. And this team, they put their heart into it, and they went above and beyond in every area. We always say the fun is in the winning, and it is in the winning. But to me, it's how you win that matters the most. On the field, hey, 15-0, there's really not else you can say. We had 13 of those wins by 20 points or more. Our seniors, 55 wins in a 4-year period, most in the history of college football. We had the #1 scoring defense in the country, and we had the most points ever scored in Clemson history. But off the field, so it's not just winning, it's how you win. Off the field, this very same team that set out to be the best ever, they had the best ever team GPA in the history of our Clemson program. We had 66 guys make a 3.0 or better. Our record previously was 56. They shattered it. They went above and beyond in every area. We won the AFCA Academic Award, #1 out of 130 teams. We won the top academic award awarded by the American Football Coaches Association. And then in New York, back in December, Christian Wilkins won the Academic Heisman, which goes to the top student athlete in all levels of football. So when I tell you this team was committed to excellence in all areas, they were truly committed. And in the end, that's what we're all going to be defined by. That's what our program's going to be defined by. Not by these trophies. Our program's going to be defined by the type of men that leave our program and what they do when they get out into society, the type of future presidents they become, and governors and CEOs and coaches and teachers and NFL players, whatever it is. That's what our program is going to be defined by. We had a quote that we kind of lived by. We started the season, kind of talked about this quote. Now, I don't know who said it, but it says this. It says, what you can vividly imagine and ardently believe and enthusiastically act upon will inevitably come to be. This team dreamed big, they believed big, and last Monday you saw them enthusiastically act upon that dream and belief. But my favorite part of this team, and what I will always remember, is that they truly enjoyed the journey. I can't tell you how many times we kind of hit pause. A lot of times with young people, everybody wants to hit fast forward. But this team, we hit pause a lot and really, truly enjoyed the journey, and it really made it so much more special for me. And in the end, that's what it should be about, just finding joy in the journey of whatever it is that we're doing. So I want to close, and I really want to give this perspective to our team and really to anybody who's listening. This is a quote. And the whole college football world was captured by Tyler Trent. He was the Purdue football fan that was battling cancer. You probably saw that. He just passed just recently. And here's what he said. He put out a quote, and he said, though I am in hospice care and have to wake up every morning knowing that the day might be my last, I still have a choice to make that day the best it can be. Yet isn't that a choice we all have every day? After all, nobody knows the amount of days that we have left. Some could say we are all in hospice to a certain degree. So why don't we act like it? Where is your gratitude? With Christmas coming up, what are you thankful for? I had to write my will recently, and I'm just thankful that I can give my family Christmas presents, maybe even for the last time. Let's not forget that my doctors gave me 3 months to live almost 2.5 months ago. So why can't we live grateful lives? Why can't we make every day count like it's the last? So for this team and all you guys moving on, and even the guys coming back, that's what I would say is go live and be great today. In order for your someday to become a reality, you just got to be your best today and truly enjoy the journey, because I always believe the best is yet to come. So, President Trump, I can't thank you enough for this very special opportunity, and all the dignitaries here to honor our football team on something that we earned and something that happened all the way on the other coast in California 1 week ago. What a special moment we'll remember for the rest of our lives. But it pales in comparison to the relationships and the journey that it took to get there. But on behalf of our team, our staff, the Board of Trustees, our President, and our AD, I want to thank you so much for this opportunity that you gave us. Thank you. Thank you.
That was really, really a nice piece. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. Bruce didn't get to hear it, but we were chatting about it, and it really says a lot for the young men in that room, and the coach and the coaching staff, and it's just great to see the accomplishments that team has had. To be the top academic team out of 130 teams in the country is really, really special, and they got the award for it. And not only did they become the top academic team with 66 players having a GPA of 3.0 or more, they won the national championship, folks, and they beat a very, very solid SEC Alabama team handily, 44-16. The worst loss that Saban has had since he's been at Alabama. So,
where did Alabama come in on the educational scale?
I don't even know. But
they were number 2.
Yeah, no, they were. I don't think they were number 2. But I'm not going to go. I don't know. But
we'll do some research on that.
Yeah, we'll get back to you on that, folks. I thought it was a really, really well done piece. 8 minutes long, and there's a room full of winners here, including our president, Donald J. Trump. So, what else we got in sports? Big upset yesterday.
Big upset.
Big upset in college basketball. Yep. Unranked Orange from Syracuse.
Orangemen.
Yeah. Battled back from a 12-point deficit to tie the Duke Blue Devils, coached by Mike Krzyzewski, went into overtime and ended up winning, I think, by, I can't remember the number, but it was 4. But anyway, number 1 team in the country goes down to unranked Orangemen. Now, people are going to say, oh, well, 2 of the Duke starters weren't in there, and okay, you're still the number 1 team. Go out and play like a number 1 team, but they got beat. So, anyway.
And we've had the playoffs on the weekend, so the NFC, the AFC are down to 4 teams. And we're going to have the Patriots versus the
Kansas City Chiefs. The Chefs.
The old pro versus the young and up-and-coming quarterback, Patrick Mahomes.
Let me tell you, I watched Patrick play. That guy is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah. He's got like a repertoire of like throws. He can throw sidearm.
Yeah, did you see that? I mean, and he throws across his body.
Yeah, and he threw a left-handed one in a couple games this season.
Did he really?
Yeah.
he is really, really fun to watch, and that team on, I think they played Saturday, right?
Mm-hmm.
That team on Saturday really played well against a pretty darn good Indianapolis Colts team, right? Isn't that who they beat?
Yeah, they did. They had a good win. There's
And
no
then
question about it.
on the other side, their opponent on I think it's Sunday. I don't know when they're going to play. They both play on Sunday.
Both on Sunday.
Both on
Yeah,
Sunday.
yeah.
Their opponent, the New England Patriots. You know this.
They're the second game.
This guy Brady just keeps ticking along.
But you
know,
got
everybody's-
Drew. You got Drew with the Saints. Same thing. You got two. Well, Brady's already 40, and
Yeah.
I think Breeze is
37.
39.
Is he really?
Yeah,
39?
I think he's going to be 40. So, yeah, I mean, the Saints, they didn't play a very good first half. They were down 14-0, came back and had the lead, but it was only a 6-point lead, and the Rams were moving the ball down the field, and Alshon Jeffrey used to be with the Bears. Ball
tipped.
Yeah, right through his hands. I mean, the ball's right to him. It just, one of those things that happens to pass receivers. And it was
Hey, Jeffries,
intercepted.
that's what you get for showboating against the Bears, your former team.
Well, he was pretty distraught. He laid on the field for a few moments, and then, you could just see the last series. And, the Saints got a first down, game was over, and he just, was on the bench, with his head in his hand. So it's, you hate to see people lose games like that, but that's the nature of the beast. So it should be a very interesting weekend with the two championship games, and then of course 2 weeks later will be the Super Bowl.
New England is the underdog in this game, by the way.
Yeah.
They are the away team. They are 3-point dogs against the Kansas City Chiefs. It was the 37-year-old was the Chargers.
Phillip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers,
Mhm.
37 years old. They had
Probably last best chance for the Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, you never know.
Seems weird calling them the L.A. Chargers.
I know. Yeah.
They were down big time, and they made a game of it. If you can call some of those touchdowns at the end, I think those were kind of gimme touchdowns.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They really weren't.
Yeah, they eased up, I think, on the accelerator.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
didn't
going
see
on.
the New Orleans game. I know that you pull for the Saints, and they've had an unbelievable season.
Mm-hmm.
Represented the conference well. What are they? 11-3.
13-3.
13-3.
Yeah.
13-3. So they are. Where are they? They are 3.5-point favorites over the L.A. Rams. L.A. Rams are a game bunch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is going to be. That is. I don't think that. I think they're both going to be great games.
Yeah, they should be. But again, I mean, if the Saints play anywhere near as bad the first quarter as they did in this last weekend, that they're going to have their hands full. And the running game that the LA has with C.J. Anderson and Todd Gurley, Georgia guy.
Yeah, and the running game, the other Georgia guy for New England.
Yeah,
Tony Michel.
Yeah.
Two Georgia boys.
Yeah. So
they're doing very, very well in the NFL. They showed a picture. They showed a clip of Tony Michel scoring in his first ever touchdown in a playoff game. So that was pretty cool. So anyway, it's going to be fun to watch. They came out yesterday. Where's the Super Bowl going to be played again? Arizona? No. Hotlanta, yes, sir. See if we can get an ice storm like we did the last time.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I mean, not so much the ice storm, but the Saints Stadium in New Orleans, Superdome, is also a Mercedes-Benz sponsored.
Yeah.
They got a big star in it, as is the new stadium in Atlanta, where the Super Bowl will be held February 3rd, I think it is.
Yeah. When the sponsorship contract in New Orleans runs out, that star is going to go away.
Is it?
Yeah. That was part of the deal with that Mercedes made in Atlanta. That with
there can only be one star.
Yes, there can. Well, yeah, long term. long term. Anyway, that's going to be fun. They named the halftime show performers yesterday or the day before, and I'm telling you,
Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake.
no malfunction
Maybe?
wardrobe for the Maroon 5.
Maroon 5.
Maroon 5 will be performing on stage at halftime. Already there's controversy.
Oh, boy.
I mean, how many millions of people watch the Super Bowl?
And get up and walk out of the room at halftime.
Yeah, exactly. And they had a petition. Apparently there's a petition out by guess who? The people that are pro-kneeling, pro-demonstration.
The Kaepernick Corps.
The Kaepernick Corps, yeah. 84,000 people, which is, what, 0.1% of the people that watch it? And, to be socially correct, they want him to step down, and there's a big controversy about it now. I mean, I'm not a big Maroon 5 fan anyway, but...
Adam Levine.
Adam Levine, yeah.
Do you think Kaepernick's going to be at the game?
Yeah, I guess to the NFL's credit, if you can give them any credit.
Not much.
Yeah, they managed that crisis pretty well this year. There was only one team during the year that was moaning and moaning and moaning that they weren't getting enough airtime to air their grievances, the Miami Dolphins. It's
like they're owed airtime for this, that's something they should do, off the field on their own time, and if they can get, some station to stick a camera in their face, so be it. But I mean,
yeah,
to think it should be part of the game, and they should have this little segment on grievances and kneeling and all that. I mean, I think that's over the top.
Yeah. Anyway, well, that was fun to kind of go around and cover a little sports for you. It's going to be a fun NFL Sunday, and then the Super Bowl downtown Atlanta. That also should be pretty interesting to watch.
Take Uber.
Yeah, take Uber. Brian, take Uber if you're going. I think regardless of who wins either game, I think it's going to be a good final.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 4 really, really good teams.
I think they're the top 4 ranked teams, in football this year. So, I mean, it's playing out like you'd believe it would be scripted. So.
Yeah. So, anyway, we've got another half hour to go, and then as I indicated at the 9:30 hour, we're going to be joined by
Beth Bennett.
Beth Bennett, thank you for that help. Beth Bennett from H&R Block here in LJ. She's going to come in and talk about some tax tips for everybody, and then Dr. Mark Well from Ridgeline Counseling will also be in to share some insight.
But without us.
That he brings without us. Yeah, we've...
both of those folks will be
we're
flying solo.
As we said earlier, we got called in at the last minute because Brian's a little bit under the weather, and we both had a couple of commitments that we've got to go to. But we took one for the team, came in here early, and we hope that you enjoyed that last half hour of sports coverage. It was truly a moving speech by Dabo, and I didn't realize the accomplishments that those young men experienced on and off the field. So if you care to watch it again, you can find it in a lot of spots. Anyway, we got a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to go
a little political.
Talk a little politics. We're going to talk a little bit of shutdown. We're going to talk a little bit about wall coverage.
The wall.
Anyway, Josh, take us a break, bub.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Ace is your healthful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge, we have your new house in stock.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Better days ahead.
The leaves aren't the only thing falling in Jasper. The prices are falling too at Days Chevrolet. Now during the model year end clearance, get huge savings up to $14,000 off Chevy Silverado Crew Cab and save up to $7,000 off new Chevy Cruze. The prices are falling on every 2018 Chevy in stock during the model year end clearance. Going on now at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where new Chevys always cost less.
Better days ahead. Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in Ellijay next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in Ellijay next to Walmart.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ellijay, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
Do you feel like healthcare has become too impersonal?
3 times an hour, I'll get you in, I'll get you out.
At Lifetime Medical Center, you're more than a number. We get to know you, not just your medical issues. Dr. Alana Kent is board certified in family practice and offers same-day appointments. She and her staff treat conditions from minor to chronic issues. Lifetime Medical Center, convenient to Jasper and Blue Ridge.
This may sting a little.
At Pizza Hut, we're more than just $5 medium one-topping pizzas. Whoa, wait, medium pizzas? For $5? And all these sides, only $5? I'm speechless. The new $5 lineup, because no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Hey, we're back after that short break. Glad to be here with my buddy Bruce. We hope you join us on Friday with the All-Star panel. Candace and Jane and Brian and the two of us get together at Circuit World and chew the fat a little bit about the week's events. And there's a lot going on, isn't there, Bob?
There's a lot going on all the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you want to touch on the wall first?
Yeah, I mean the government
The
shutdown.
wall, the shutdown, all tied together, right?
Yeah, it is. It's, one begets the other. So obviously Trump has dug in, and he is perfectly happy to continue to keep the government shut. It's sort of getting to a no-win for either side, in my opinion, because as he said, he's asked the Democrats, well, if I reopen the government, are you going to really come to the table and negotiate in good faith? And they go, no. So I'm sure Trump is sitting there thinking, well, why should I reopen the government? Because I'm not going to get anything. So I don't know if this is all leading up to the use of the National Emergency Act that he says he can do.
We talked about that last Friday at the All-Star panel, and I think we were a little bit split on that. I didn't think he was going to go there. He claims he's not going to go there. He said it's too simple of a issue to pull that card.
Well, yeah, and you think about the Democrats. I mean, in 2006, they voted money for a wall. I mean, big billions of dollars. I mean, it was
26, wasn't it?
26 billion back then. And they redid it in 13. And you have to ask yourself, okay, here are our elected officials voting on these things 12 years ago, 5 years ago. Where'd the money go? What happened? I mean, they vote on stuff and then it just like disappears into the fog. So,
I just absolutely grinds on me that they can be that disingenuous when they have to be able to see themselves in these clips and hear and feel what they said and what they believed in so vehemently years ago, and to just make no excuse for the flip. Well, it's a different day now. No, it isn't. It's a different president. That's what the problem is. They don't like the president. They don't want him to have a winning strategy. They don't want him in 2020 to be saying, promises made, promises kept.
And the other thing that's happened, of course, during Obama's administration, he unilaterally, through executive powers, did the DACA thing, the Dreamers bill.
Even though he said, there's no way I can do that. I can't rewrite law.
And it's probably going to get struck down at a court level. And indeed, it has been struck down. But now you have this 800,000 population of dreamers in the country that are looking for some sort of status resolution. And it's just not going to happen. I mean, unless you can get like comprehensive immigration reform, which both parties for 3 or more decades has refused to address this issue. and they just kick the can down the road. And I think a lot of people are really giving Trump props for digging in his heels and saying, let's solve this thing once and for all. But I don't know if it's going to happen.
Let me tell you, there was a call in. Yeah, let me take a step back. So, okay, he goes and he pulls the national emergency card.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm going to play this.
I'm going to play this bad boy, and then he's able to divert money, probably from Army Corps, something like that.
FEMA, or whatever.
Yeah, wherever there's some money to get this wall, whatever they want to call it these days. Then immediately, and I guarantee you that the Dems have already got a court picked out.
Ninth Circuit,
where they can cherry pick the judge who is going to rule against Trump. And they had a guy call in to Rush the other day, and I thought it was a brilliant scheme, and I wish he would have kept it to himself. But okay, let's go here. The Republicans are set to do the same thing the Democrats. However, they pick a different court. What this guy said was the immediate, I mean, literally 30 seconds after Trump pulls the national emergency card, they slam in a court of their liking, maybe in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
They go to Texas, they slam a lawsuit, knowing that the judge is probably going to rule in his favor, to cut the 11th Circuit off at the knees. How cool would that be?
So,
you understand what I mean?
Yeah, who would bring suit? Like, just any Republican?
Yeah,
or a rhino?
All we're trying to do, make them adjudicate it, knowing that this judge will probably rule in the president's favor because he does have the authority.
So just, pip them at the line, as it were, to get into a court.
Beat them to the punch.
Yeah.
Beat them to the punch. I thought that was a very, very cool idea that he called into Rush Limbaugh and brought that out, and Rush thought it was great. So
you just don't know if the Republicans.
Rush is running the country, by the way.
Oh, things are getting better.
What about the shutdown? What about TSA? What about these people that are calling in sick and they're having to shut down?
Where is it? Houston and Miami airports.
Houston and Miami shut down the some of the terminals.
Yeah, I don't think it's been across the board, but some of the terminals have been reduced or shut down or whatever it is.
Fire them, folks.
Yeah, this brings back the Reagan and the air traffic controllers.
We want to privatize that agency anyway.
Yeah.
Make TSA the oversight agency for the private companies that should come in and do a better job. Let the airlines, worry about safety, and believe me, they will worry about safety.
Yeah, indeed.
They will. They'll make something happen. But I heard something this morning that, it might not be bad to kind of trim government down a little bit.
Gee. Trump, I think, has already told all the departments, the cabinet departments, that they need to do a 5 to 10% reduction. So I think that's already in the works. But, that's probably been boogered up by all the career politicians.
Well, to my humble way of thinking,
service.
they ought to do away with a couple of those departments.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. First one, education.
Energy should go too. There's no reason, energy only started under Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter, yeah.
Yeah.
Jimmy Carter put that into play, and there's absolutely no reason.
But a few other things about the wall and our politicians, just to throw some things out there. The Democrats, really got behind Obama on this Iran deal. Somehow, they could find $150 billion of frozen funds.
Frozen assets run through Canada.
$150 billion that can go to Iran, but they can't, agree to for $5 billion for this wall in our own country. Another little interesting tidbit, since 1972, the government has built over 3,000 miles of sound walls along interstates and highways to protect nearby homeowners from traffic. These walls cost about $2 million per mile. The government has spent over $6 billion on these. So if they can spend $6 billion on sound walls...
Those are interstate highways?
Yeah, sound walls. I think we can probably spend $5 billion for a wall that's going to keep, drugs and illegal immigrants out, and you'd think that would be a no-brainer, but Washington continues to amaze us, folks.
There was a sound bite yesterday of someone said, well, the walls don't work, all they do is tunnel underneath. But the whole thing is about making it as tough as they can.
Indeed.
For the drug cartels to be bringing in drugs, human trafficking. It's going to take a lot more energy, time, money to tunnel under some of this stuff.
And there is technology out there that can detect
sonar
tunneling and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if any of the listeners or viewers have ever been to Israel, they have, the whole state of Israel is walled off. And they have a very extensive combination of physical barriers, electronics, surveillance. And in fact, I heard that the company that did the wall in Israel is angling to get approval to be one of the bidders on any of the walls in the U.S. I think that would be a good thing. They obviously know what they're doing, and I think they would bring the latest in terms of all these things, physical, electronic, surveillance, to the table. I think that could be very interesting for some of the people who doubt just a wall is going to be sufficient, and people will dig under it and catapult over it and all these things,
Boing!
Yeah.
I might have missed some retired professional or active professional, but to a person, the ones that I've heard all say that the wall in combination with other things works.
Indeed.
Walls work.
You get the leaders of the Border Patrol, the ICE officials, rank and file, the people around the ground getting shot at or chasing people. You have not heard hardly anything from any of those professionals that they are against the wall. They say barriers, technology, people, equipment, they need it all. And that is, I think, part of the $5 billion. It isn't just the structure. I think there's other monies in there for these other aspects.
What is it, 1/10 of 1% of the entire overall budget?
Yeah. It's peanuts in the big scheme.
Yeah. Remember, folks, what Trump said. I'm going to do this one time, the omnibus bill.
Mm-hmm.
With that Ryan said that cake was already baked when he came in, which was horse fooey. But I'm going to do it one time. And he's a man of his word. I mean, he says he's not going to open the government. I'm telling you, he's going to be a man of his word. So what else you got for us that's kicking around in the news?
Well, I think, the New York Times came out about Trump being a Russian agent. I mean, it takes it to the height of ridiculousness, but...
That's the FBI again, leaking to the press. They're out in front of this thing. As my friend Debbie in Florida said, they're out in front of this thing to cover their keisters.
Mm-hmm. And they just throw disinformation out there. I mean, this is classic rules for radicals.
Yeah.
It's classic.
Yeah.
So, it's ridiculous. Why would he be an agent for the Russians? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
No, none. Cohen gonna appear? Is that just a bunch of nothing?
I think he's just going to flap his gums and do some of this stuff like the Times. Just throw a bunch of funny stuff out there, and it's going to get the attraction of the media. They're going to run with it. It'll be in the news cycle for 3 to 7 days and done.
Brian had a really good piece. Brian had a really good piece yesterday about Cohen and the Ukrainian ties and his father-in-law and the medallions. We covered it one day on the show.
Yeah, we did.
But he went down a couple other rabbit holes where, they're loan sharks. They're lending each other money back and forth and guaranteeing it with the medallions, and they're tied into the marijuana industry now.
Well, we talked on the show, the All-Star panel, months ago about the incestuous nest of vipers that is in Washington. All the people, Peter Strzok and
Lisa Page,
their family members are tied in. There's judges. There's this. There's that. I mean, it's
What about the one that came in and testified against Kavanaugh? Her brother was part of Fusion GPS.
Oh, Blasey Ford?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Her brother was part of the Fusion GPS.
Incestuous nest of vipers.
I'm telling you. What say you about Gillette? Are you going to change to Schick? Huh? You got that toxic masculinity working there, brother.
I got an old 3 that I like, because that kind of fits
An
that.
old
not the
3?
floating
How do
head.
you find blades for that bad boy?
Oh, you can get them there on the internet. Yeah, I'm conflicted now. I mean, that thing, you got to give the background on, that ad.
Well, I mean, it's...
Basically, men are toxic and terrible, and boys are just bullies, and...
Right.
Yeah, it's a really nasty ad in many ways.
They say it was aimed to women. Aimed to women to
women use
to
Gillette
patronize.
products.
Yeah.
But, I mean... I'd say, let's just say it's 50-50, but I mean, do you want to alienate 50% of your buyers?
Yeah, yeah.
And some people have already come back and said, that's it, I'm not buying any Gillette. I mean, there's all these online Henry's Razors and,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there's other options.
Yeah,
folks.
Blade of the Month Club, right?
Yeah, hey.
Well, that's the whole deal. We'll give you the razor, but you got to buy the blades, folks. You got to buy the blades anyway.
Yeah, whiz replacements.
What about, let's see, what else is current?
Democratic Party contenders for the presidency.
Oh, yeah.
We got a list a mile long, folks.
20 of them at least, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's people you never even heard of.
And they're already backbiting each other.
Oh, gee, what a shock.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard. She said something about gays.
Long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah, well, I've evolved.
Yeah. Is Bernie going to run again? I mean, we got Elizabeth
Bernie's
Warren.
what, 80, what is he, 88 years old or something like
No,
that?
he's not in his 80s.
Are you sure?
I think he's late 70s.
Okay.
But you got Elizabeth Warren, Julian Castro.
That's the old ag secretary, or
Right, under Obama.
yeah.
Booker, Biden.
Corey.
Delaney from Maryland.
Harris.
Guy from West Virginia, Ojeda. Andrew Yang, Tulsi Gabbard, Beto out of Texas.
Yeah.
Kirsten Gillibrand, New York. Amy Klobuchar from Minnesota.
And don't forget,
de Blasio, McAuliffe.
and let's not forget the leading candidate that just came out of Iowa.
Who dat?
Debbie Warren.
Debbie Warren.
No, that'd be Warren.
Oh,
Pocahontas.
yes, Liawatha.
Yeah, who came out with that?
Yes.
Was that Gutfeld?
Huh?
Was that Gutfeld
Yeah,
the
I
other
think
night
it
on the
was, yeah.
5?
Yeah.
Liawatha.
But it was so funny, she did that ad where it's like she pops a bottle of beer and starts
Yeah,
drinking it.
excuse me while I take a sip of beer.
Yeah, and then her husband comes in and she goes, "Oh, I'm so thankful that you're here. Thank you for being here." And someone said, "Why shouldn't he be there? It's his house."
That's right. I live here, all right? Thank you for being here.
Oh, boy, I'm telling you. It's getting wacky. And it's 2 years out, folks.
Let's go out to California where they banned plastic bags, plastic straws, and now they're after paper receipts.
And the new governor says he's going to tax drinking water.
That came out yesterday, and it was reported this morning that he is going to tax drinking water. My goodness, where
This
are they
is
going
to
to
create a
end?
fund for those folks who live in California who can't afford the water.
Yeah.
And you just go, really? People don't have access to water. You don't hear that many people have, they're falling over in the streets because they're dehydrated. But, some things don't get reported. What can I say?
And our final thought of the day, our old buddy AOC.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Here's a quote, folks. Or here's what's attributed to her. Socialism is an economic disease born of envy and ignorance. Unfortunately, both abound in our present politics. The sickness has found an attractive spokeswoman, perhaps sadly, the voice of her generation. I think that says a mouthful, don't you?
She is getting a lot of attention. She is certainly the heroine of the youthful left wing of the Democratic Party.
Not to be confused with heroin.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But again, she has a degree in economics and international relations from Boston University, which really sort of suggests to me, don't send your kids to Boston University. It just is really sad. They must be very upset with her lack of knowledge on some basic things about government systems and economics.
Anyway, this has been fun this morning. We're delighted to be able to answer the call and sit in for Brian, who's a little bit under the weather. After the break, we're going to break for our commercial sponsors, our buddies out there that make this all happen for you on a daily basis.
Indeed.
Then we're going to be visited by Beth Bennett from H&R Block right here in LJ, talk a little bit about tax season and give you some tips. And then Dr. Markwell from Ridgeline Counseling will give you his perspective on some things that may be troubling in your life or those of others that you know. So make sure you stay tuned for those folks. They've got some very insightful information.
And we'll see you again on Friday.
Yeah, we will be there Friday at our friends at Circuit World.
JR,
hopefully he's on the mend, and we'll see Jamie out there. We'll be with our all-star panel friends, Candace and Jane, and Brian will be with Dr. Bill Whaley and our Ask the Doc segment. It's always fun to see Doc Whaley and what he brings to the dance every Friday.
and then of course we always get pushed out for the Pet of the Week.
Pet of the Week, and then we've got a little we've got someone in the middle in there, and I'm Jesse Barton, correct?
Yes,
Jesse Barton from one of the extended care facilities, Cameron Hall. Cameron Hall is well represented by Jesse, and she always brings some interesting stuff to the table. So, Josh, thanks so much for helping us this morning. We kind of came in here on the fly. Like I said, we felt like we're flight attendants on reserve, and we just got called in for an international flight. But hopefully you found what we had to say this morning entertaining. If you missed the piece earlier that Dabo Sweeney did, I would urge you, regardless of whether you're a football fan or not, I think it lends a lot of credibility to that program, and it was all well deserved. So,
did we get free miles with Fetcher News Airlines?
That's right. Enjoyed being with you this morning, and
Good being with you.
Brian, we hope you're on the mend, and stay tuned in the next half hour for Beth and Dr. Markwell. Thank you, Josh. We are out of here.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Ace is your healthful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge, we have your new house in stock.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Better days ahead.
The leaves aren't the only thing falling in Jasper. The prices are falling too at Days Chevrolet. Now during the model year end clearance, get huge savings up to $14,000 off Chevy Silverado Crew Cab and save up to $7,000 off new Chevy Cruze. The prices are falling on every 2018 Chevy in stock during the model year end clearance. Going on now at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where new Chevys always cost less.
Better days ahead. Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Hey folks, we are back and I'm happy to start our first segment of the year of tax tips with Beth Bennett from H&R Block. Now, before I get Beth in here, we've done this a couple years. We'll be here every other Thursday. Okay, every other Thursday we'll be here until April, and Beth will be answering my questions, your questions, and she'll bring topics that are important. Beth, glad to have you back this year. How are you?
It's great to be back. Welcome to 2019.
Well, you know what I want to start out with, and just give you the floor is the first time. Right now, there's laws that change, that go in, they get implemented in different years. So maybe somebody heard, well, this was happening 2 years ago. This may be the year it gets implemented. There may be deductions that you took last year and you thought, well, I can take them again. What are the number one things that that people, when they come over and sit down with you at H&R Block at one of your locations, are going to find out this year they can deduct, or the law has changed that they need to pay attention to?
So there were lots of changes last year that took effect in, like you said, staggering years. Probably one of the biggest everyone's going to see this year is the doubling of the standard deduction. So if you were married, I think it was $12,600 last year, so that went to $24,000. So that's really big, unless you itemized. If you itemized, now it may not benefit you to itemize. So that may not hurt you on your federal tax return, but it could have significant impacts on your state, because if you itemized on your federal, then you got to carry that amount to the state return, which was huge because Georgia's standard deduction was $3,000 for a married couple. So if you got $20,000 on your Schedule A and deductions, and only $3,000 is the standard for Georgia, you've got to carry $20,000 to Georgia. So that's a pretty big difference for this year. But Georgia did some good stuff last year as well with the changes that happened to the federal, and they actually doubled the standard deduction for Georgia. So Georgia's now went from $3,000 to $6,000 for a married couple. So they're trying to help. That's a big change for Georgia, and I can't remember. I think that was the first big change on Georgia's I talked about it last year. So the federal, this is the biggest changes since I think '86, but Georgia, it was even before that. It might have been the '70s.
What are some of the top things that people that are going to come to you this year, or people that are preparing their taxes, do need to know that you have, that you want to make sure that we get out to people this morning?
So your personal exemptions went away with the doubling of the standard deduction. Your personal exemption went away, but hopefully doubling the standard deductions helped that. They also increased the child tax credit, so that helped significantly. reduced tax rates are one of the new things out there. That went into effect on your paychecks last year. You had less money withheld from your paychecks unless you changed your W-4 to adjust for that. And then your tax rate, when you do your tax return, will be reduced as well this year. So that's a big change. One of the big things that's on people's minds right now is, can I file? Should I file because of the government shutdown?
Yeah, I did want to go into that. Before we do go into the shutdown, because I do want to ask you that question. I know people are wondering out there. Now, when is the last day that employers have to get your tax information, W-2, what is the last day to get that to you? And is it like next week in the 1st of February when you start to see more of a rush of people wanting to file their taxes?
So January 31st is the deadline for employers to mail to you. They got to be postmarked. January 31st for all W-2s and 1099s. So if you work for someone, they have to mail it to you by January the 31st.
Are people already coming in and asking questions about a refund? Is there already concerns?
Absolutely.
Are you seeing that?
Mm-hmm. We're already doing returns.
Yeah, right. I know you're doing returns, but I mean, are they coming in? Or are they concerned about they need to wait to do the return, or they're coming in to do the returns? What's some of the biggest questions you get, and what are you hearing? What's H&R Block putting out to tell you, to tell the people that are coming in, the people filing returns that are concerned with this shutdown and their refund?
So we had a news release was it Tuesday? It happened Monday night, right? My days are running together.
I think so.
So news release, that Congress enacted that the IRS will open. They'll bring back their employees. They will be processing returns and issuing refunds. Initially, with the government shutdown and all previous government shutdowns, the IRS did not work, and refunds were not issued. And so that's a really big change, a really positive for everyone, because that was getting us a lot of phone calls. A lot of people very concerned with, because for some people, this is their biggest financial transaction of the entire year. Some people get, right now, this time of the year, people who come in and file now, they're getting $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 refunds. And so it's a really big deal to them. And I think that was probably the biggest driver to get those people their money.
What is, so at this time right now, can you tell people, well, obviously you can't guarantee nothing, and I'm not asking that, but like, we anticipating delays, or did Congress put out something that said, things should run as planned?
They've never addressed that part specifically, just that they'll open on January 28th, which that's typical. So we've always done returns beginning the 1st of January, and then they kind of sit at a host computer and wait for the IRS to open, and then they all go in and get accepted on that first day. But that's typical. And so right now, there hasn't been any kind of delays on our end, that we can see. So I did see an article from the IRS that said, that all their computers are updated. They were ready to run.
And what is H&R Block? What is some of the information they're sending out to you concerning this, or concerning how to answer some of the questions, or some of the things that H&R Block, because it's one of the things that we've talked about in years in the past, is you do get a wealth of information that they help send out to the offices, much like yours. Right.
So being part of a big corporation, we're well connected. We have, liaisons to the IRS and committees and all that, and so that helps us. We're business as usual. We're business as usual. Come in, file your tax return like you would every year, get it in the system, be the first through the gate, get yours processed as quick as possible, and hopefully get your refund back quick. Again, they don't have anything that says anything is awry at the IRS. Everything is good to go. Everything that we've read and seen has said, everything was good to go. They were ready to go at the time the government shut down.
We have here on the screen one of your locations there, and this is Tax Tips with Beth Bennett at H&R Block, and there's a phone number she can be reached. But how many locations do you have? That's just one. How many do you have?
So here in LJ we have 3. So that one there behind us is located at Craig Street, right between Pools Barbecue and the drugstore. We have one at Highland Crossing up by Walmart, and then we have the one on River Street right here in downtown. So that's 3 in LJ, and then I've expanded. I now have 8 offices, so I'm kind of covering all over North Georgia now. Spend a lot of time in my
So you
car.
have 8 offices?
8.
Do we have all that information? We need to make sure we get that.
You want to put all of them up there?
Well,
I will not pass the phone number test now, Brian. I will fail miserably.
Well, I was getting ready to say, do you know? That was next. Do you have the phone number? What are some of the, and we've discussed this in years past, but it's very important. What are some of the reasons why somebody should come in and sit down with you and one of your professionals that you have in there? What's the benefit of coming in and sitting down with one of your tax preparing professionals?
Well, so one of the biggest things at H&R Block is we really push and require our tax professionals to get continuing education. So they spend a lot of time, and especially this year with the tax law changes, a lot of extra time taking classes, making sure they understand those tax law changes so that we can implement every change in a positive way for you, or to have the least negative impact. Because some of us, for me personally, it's all positive impacts. I'm kind of excited about them. Now my daughter, she's having some negative impacts from it. So for every taxpayer, it's going to be different. So again, their key focus is taxes. It's what we do. That's who we are, right? And so that they're extremely knowledgeable and skilled and experienced, and they know what they're doing, and they're going to be able to find you credits and deductions that maybe you might have missed if you just do it on your own. If you remember last year, I told everyone, even if you don't come to H&R Block, go get a professional to look at it, get a consultation so you can prepare for next year. And over the summer and all year, I've talked to so many people that said, I didn't know that was happening. And I'm scared for people this year.
Well, we've talked about in the past that you need to come in. My thought, and we talked about, if you come in and sit down with a professional, much like yourself and your staff, not only are you preparing the taxes now, your professionals are saying, this is our suggestion for next year.
Absolutely.
So not only are you preparing your taxes, because some people, and we understand that you're busy out there and they want to run in, file their tax, and that's what's on your mind is, I want to file my taxes, I want to get out, and I want to get my refund, get back to work or whatever I'm doing in life. But there's the side where you need, it helps to have a professional, much like your staff, that says, while we're filing this, what I see here that you didn't do last year that would have been a benefit, you might want to start doing this year. So you're able to also counsel for next year's
Absolutely.
tax
And that is
season.
part of our service, and we are here year-round. We're here all the time. You can come in at any time. We don't charge for that service. You can
So you're
come
not
in,
just stopping in and file your taxes. You'll get a
No.
professional. And last but not
Consultation and advice.
least, you're a year-round business. You handle business taxes, corporation filings, you name it. Your business does every bit of that year-round.
We do all tax returns. We can do your personal, your business, your small business, your big business, corporations, partnerships, states, trusts, whatever you got, we can take care of it for you. And again, they're skilled. They spend hours and hours every year getting education and building on that education to be able to do taxes. And it's not a requirement of the IRS to be able to do taxes to have any education. And that scares me. Years ago they tried to implement that you had to be certified through them. And there were lawsuits and it went away. But I was very excited about that because you don't know who's doing your taxes, and you need to ask that question. Are you registered with the IRS?
Tax Tips with Beth Bennett, H&R Block, 706-635-5563. How many locations now? 8?
8.
Beth Bennett has 8 locations to serve you there, and you could call that one. And I'm going to step out and say that if you call and you have a situation where they have office hours, but if you're working and you're busy and you have to ask for something, you will do an appointment. I remember that from last year, so can I go ahead and say that?
Absolutely. We will accommodate your schedule. If our hours don't work for you, you just call the office and somebody will work with you to get you in and get your return done at your convenience.
No matter where you're at, that one location is just one. There's 8 to serve you. Beth Bennett's locations of H&R Block here in North Georgia. So if you're in North Georgia, we recommend a tax professional that can help you file your tax, not just file your tax, but help advise you on things that may help for next year. And that would be Beth Bennett's H&R Block. Thank you very much. We'll see you in a couple weeks. And by then, we'll have a lot of things going on, and you'll be getting a lot of questions from people, and we'll have other things probably coming from the government that we can discuss. You agree?
I think we might see some changes from the government. We're good. Thank you so much.
Okay, we're going to take a brief break, and we'll be right back right after this, and we'll wrap up our programming today because we go to 10 o'clock, and I got some more things I want to share with you. It's time now for Dr. David Markwell from Ridgeline Counseling, and our subject today is addiction. Dr. Markwell, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Brian. How are you?
Now, when I say, I'm doing great, thank you, and when I say addiction, that's a big umbrella of different things, but would it be safe to say that all of us have struggled in our life with an addiction somewhere? I mean, because whether it can be food, whether it can be chemical, whether it can be sexual, not just or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's a long list of things. Correct? Gambling.
It is, and it's interesting because to some degree, as you mentioned, all of us have a level of addiction to something. And I read years ago that part of the process of getting healthier is moving from addictions that are not healthy emotionally, physically, and so forth, to addictions that are more emotionally healthy and physically healthy and so forth. So you're right, exercise could become an addiction. It really is interesting, the diagnostic manual that is used quite a bit for mental health years ago had two terms that they would use. One was abuse and the other one was addiction. And so you had to differentiate between, is this particular instance, whether it's gambling, pornography, alcohol, drugs, is it more of a case of the person is abusing that thing, or have they become addicted or dependent to it? And then most recently, within the last couple of years, they actually changed some of the criteria diagnostically to where it's no longer a decision of abuse or addiction. Everything is now on a continuum, and you just have to work with that person on how severe or minimal is that addiction. So to answer your question, you're right. Anything can, move onto that scale and become adverse in our life if it's a negative impact.
Okay, now I'm just going to throw out some things I've always heard, and I've just heard some people say sometimes they have or somebody has an addictive personality. Can that be something that you have? Gambling, smoking, drinking, drugs, but they don't all go together. But can that be something that somebody has an addictive personality?
Well, there's not a actual term addictive personality, but there are some personality types and personality disorders that lean themselves more toward addictive behaviors. For example, personality styles and traits that are more impulsive, maybe sensation seeking, that definitely could lean itself more toward that. It's very similar. For example, a lot of times we'll use the term people who are obsessive or obsessive compulsive, and a person who is obsessive is someone who has thoughts in their mind that are constantly ruminating, and then of course they have to compulse, which basically means act on those particular thoughts. And the same thing sometimes happens, although we don't use the word obsessive, we use the word addictive, is that that person is fixated on what that item is. They have to get the next hit. They need to pull up the next website, whatever it may be. So it's not necessarily an actual term, addictive personality, but yes, that is one of the factors that can go into addiction, which is a person's personality style or type.
Now, how many different ways are they to deal with? And I know this is a big, wide open question that I don't think you can just drill down to one thing. But let's say for example, and I'm just going to put it like this. Okay, in North Georgia, in Western Carolina, right up here, 45 minutes away, there's a casino now. Okay, and there was not a casino. 5 years ago. So obviously, some people in our area, our viewing area here, they went to the casino one time and were able to go home. How about gambling addictions, like things like that happen? How do you deal with trying to work with people that have a gambling addiction for particularly, because a couple things in our area. One, recently, it's been highlighted, opiate addictions and heroin and these kind of things that are chemical addictions. And then gambling's a whole different kind of addiction. So could you differentiate the two, a chemical addiction and something like gambling?
Right, and that's actually a really good point, Brian, is that both of them actually have a chemical component to it, but it's a little different when you talk about, for example, alcohol or drugs, for two reasons. One, the actual alcohol or the drug itself, with its chemical reaction on the brain and on the body, in addition to just what are called the neurotransmitters in the brain, especially dopamine. That's part of the battle in the addiction world that they talk about. Is I always tell clients sometimes is, we have serotonin in our brain that sometimes antidepressants will be used to address serotonin issues. Dopamine is more of the pleasure principle part of our brain. I always say that dopamine is that thing that makes us feel dopey. It's that reward. It's the seek of the reinforcement of the reward. And what they're finding out now through more studies of the brain is that the pursuit of whatever the addiction is actually what produces more of the dopamine impact. So, for example, with gambling, it's not just the fact that, here's a chance of getting a lot of money for just a quarter or 50 cents or $1 or the right cards, but it's actually the pursuit. So if I put $20 into a slot machine and I don't get that money, some people, as you said, can walk away from that frustrated or whatever, but others, that dopamine starts to act up and say, okay, let me pursue it even more. And so there's that constant pursuit, just like, scratch off things and so forth. So on one hand, alcohol, opiates, marijuana, those types of things, there's a chemical component that we're ingesting as well as the dopamine within our brain. But even gambling itself has a chemical component, but it's more internal inside of our brain. The gambling itself doesn't put any kind of chemical into us.
Okay, so and another one that comes to mind. There's so many different addictions out there, but can food be considered? Because I'm going to go all the way from this sliding scale all the way over. No pun intended, using scales.
Right.
But
right.
Can food be an addiction?
Absolutely. In fact, there's some research that actually says that food is one of the more challenging addictions. The reason for that is we don't always have to, on a daily or weekly basis, go into a casino or, for example, go into a liquor store. But very often we do have to go to the grocery store. And so there is that component. There's a lot of research that shows that people who struggle with, like, let's say, anxiety or stress, they're, stress eaters, as they talk about, and that same chemical reaction gets activated, which is the pursuit of, the donuts. To give you an interesting thing about food, there's an interesting documentary out there that talks about the power of sugar. And there's some research years ago they did on rats, and usually rats are the ones that get tested a lot. And what they did was they put these rats in a very stressful situation, and then they released them into this open space. And in that open space, the rat had two choices to drink from to, hydrate themselves. One of it was water that had been mixed with some type of drug. I want to say it was like heroin or cocaine, one of the two that had been mixed within the water. And the other was just simply what you and I would call sugar water. And the higher percentage of rats would go to the sugar water and drink from that over the other water because of the chemical reaction and so forth. And so when you think about that with the amounts of sugar that is in our food, it definitely can become very addictive.
Before we end our segment today, Dr. Markwell, is there anything else on addictions, treatment for addictions, or things? I guess let me say, I do have another question. How can we know we're venturing into something that it's getting ready to turn from a pleasure, and let me say that, like a pleasure, something that casual enjoyment, to an addiction? Where is that trigger, and do we have something inside that we can pick up on before we go too far personally?
Very good question, and a good point. I'll give you 4 very quick things that people can use kind of as little markers. One of them is if the substance that's being used or the activity that's being used begins to get into larger amounts or used for longer periods of time than what was intended. So like if you go over to the casino and you take $20, but then within a short period of time that $20 that you're spending and leaving after using is now turned into $200 or $1,000, then you need to really take note of that. Number 2, if there's a desire, for example, that you want to cut down on the activity or the substance, but you've not been successful, in those efforts, it seems like it's getting greater than the actual effort. And then, of course, if your pursuit of it is taking more time from other things that are more important, like work and school and obligations that you have, if, you're spending unlimited hours, for example, doing one particular activity over things that are more necessary in your life, that would be something to consider as a kind of a warning sign. And then the other one that I think is if it begins to become like more of a riskier behavior. A lot of, for example, in the world of sexual addiction, a lot of times those sexual behaviors become more risky. So it starts out with maybe watching, computer, then it moves on to involving yourself or interacting with humans based in a sexual way, and then it becomes more and more riskier and so forth. Those are some things to kind of watch for. And then, of course, always, if you feel like it's reaching a point where maybe a family member or friend says something to you, or you kind of realize, hey, this is getting a little bit out of hand, definitely there are mental health professionals that you could speak with. There's some, we have a counselor on our staff that is a certified addiction counselor. And so there are professionals that definitely could, assist with them.
Dr. Markwell, I appreciate you very much. And, it seems like it was just yesterday in 1984, my wife and I attended a conference in Atlantic City, and I had $700. How many people are going to judge me out there for this? But back then I had $700, and I gave my wife $20 and said, no matter what I say, no matter what happens, you do not give me this $20. You understand? And so I gambled away $680 and was begging her for the 20, saying I know I could win it back. So,
Right.
so that is the day I decided I should not gamble.
Right. Right.
Just my little personal interjection there. That was the day I decided I probably shouldn't be doing this.
Oh, exactly.
So,
right.
Anyhow, Dr. Markwell, it's always a pleasure. We appreciate you very much, and we are talking right here around the holidays. So you and your family enjoy your holiday season, and we'll get back with you right after the first of the year. Thank you very much, Dr. Markwell.
You as well.
We've been on the line with Dr. David Markwell from Ridgeline Counseling, and our topic today was addiction, and you can see the number there, 706-314-8807, 706-314-8807, and that's how you can get in touch with Dr. David Markwell from Ridgeline Counseling if you'd like to discuss anything further with them, and we'll be back right after this.